Hey everyone, what is up? So I actually have the 2DS and it took me actually a long time to get it because I didn't even realize you guys wanted it, and I found something super interesting about it that's probably already been out, but we're just gonna see how it holds up in 2018. Now it actually came out in 2013, so it's about 5 years old at this point. And it was pretty much an entry-level 3DS at the time. You know, it was a 3DS without the 3D features, and it was actually a lot cheaper, about $50 cheaper than the regular 3DS. And obviously it had a radical redesign. It didn't have the flip open action that the regular 3DS and Nintendo DS all had, but they were going for a more younger audience, and they were trying to save on money on parts and making it super premium so they could sell it for less. So I totally understand the angle they were going at this time. And we've seen since with the new Nintendo 2DS, it's actually pretty decent. Now looking around the body, we have a super interesting design. It's not a clamshell as I said before. I mean, I'm sure you guys already seen this before. Like it's nothing new. It's been out for a while now. And surprisingly, I actually thought for me before even I had it, I thought that it was actually more premium than what it feels like in real life when I saw the photos of it. But I'm actually surprised by how much it feels pretty plasticky. I mean, I could tell like it creaks like crazy if you can hear it. But yeah, and the buttons don't feel too premium either. I mean, I would rate this device pretty low on the premium scale, especially compared to a 3DS like this. The 3DS actually feels really premium if you think about it. I mean, it feels really good. But when you compare it to a 2DS, it's actually pretty cheap feeling. But all the buttons work, the controller's fine, I guess, and it also has the little joystick thing up here too, which I really like, especially when I'm looking back on a device. The Nintendo DS never had it, but at least this device does have it. And screens aren't that bad either. It's not that pixelated. I really do think that it's okay. You can obviously control the brightness and all that. Now let me show you guys something. I didn't know this, but if you take out the stylus, like look up here. I'm going to take out the stylus right now. You see how it like makes a little like change of like the little thing? I'm going to put it back in. Isn't that so weird? I never knew that. So if you take it back in, then there's like a little animation. I guess you could like put it in now, but I never knew that. Now, as I was saying, the screen isn't that bad resolution, especially compared to something like a 3DS XL that actually had a pretty bad screen, especially something like a Nintendo DSi XL. This probably had the worst screen I've ever seen in my life, but that's probably why it had such great battery life, because the screen resolution wasn't that good. Now, one thing I love about this is that it can play 3DS games, right? Which it should be able to. And it can play Nintendo DS games because it still has the slot up here where you can easily insert any Nintendo DS game or 3DS game. You could play it through here, and you also have a micro SD card slot over here. And I think that's super sick that you actually have the ability to play both. Just like on the regular 3DS, I could have seen Nintendo do something like it can only support 3DS games, but not in this case. It can actually play both. And this thing has a humongous library. If you guys remember my DS video, I said that console had so many games for it, and now we have this console that can do so much more. It can play those games, and it can play 3DS games as well. Now I do have one thing to say, that when I put my flash card in here, my Nintendo DS one, it said it couldn't support it for some reason, which was really weird. On my 3DS XL it was fine, but on my 2DS it couldn't work. So if you plan on getting a flash card with this, make sure you find one that's supported for your version, because the one I had originally that worked on my 3DS, it does not work on the Nintendo DS. Now battery life is actually pretty good as well. Nintendo kind of has a thing of putting very good battery life in their consoles, and this is no exception. It has pretty good battery life. I could get several days out of it. I don't think it's as good as my 3DS XL's battery life. It's definitely not as good as a DSi XL's battery life, but compared to something like the 3DS that I have, I definitely find this having better battery life than that. I didn't even notice that when you hit the thing too, this thing goes swinging. That's so weird. I am just kind of curious that if on the 3DS, if you hit it, if the thing starts flying too. What does that mean? So I didn't know this, but it actually has a motion sensor, so it can tell when you hit it. And if you take out the stylus, which is up here, so it also makes that animation too. So I never knew that. That's so cool. But battery life is definitely not the worst part about this at all. So is the Nintendo 2DS worth it in 2018? Of course it is. This thing is completely worth it. But I will say that I bought this 3DS for around the same. Actually, I bought it for the same price. I bought this for $50, and I bought this for $50 too. So they both came out around the same price. And I will tell you that the 3DS is actually better than the 2DS. So you should actually go and buy a 3DS instead. But if you find a 2DS for a pretty good price, then I will say, yeah, go for it. It's a pretty good gaming system overall. But I think you'll have a better experience and feel the more premium device if you're holding it like this. You'll definitely feel how cheap this is compared to a 3DS, where you see it's actually super premium for the price it is. So if I were you, I would definitely get a 3DS over a 2DS. I can't really find anything that the 2DS does better except battery life. But I mean, if I were you, I would get a used 3DS, then get a used 2DS. If you're going the new route, you can definitely get a new 2DS since it's cheaper. But if you're going the used route, you can definitely find it for around the same price. I'll leave links to both of them in the description on Amazon if you guys want to go support the channel too. But that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Comment down if you guys have any questions or anything like that. But definitely hit that subscribe button. We are actually giving away 2 iPhones. We're giving away an iPhone SE and an iPhone 6s. And in order to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All those links are down in the description, and it's super easy to enter, so go check those out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.